Academically.
In a way that relates to studying and thinking, not practical skills. She's always done well academically.
Академически.
Academically.
In a way that relates to studying and thinking, not practical skills. She's always done well academically.
Академически.
Admit.
To agree that something is true, especially unwillingly. He admitted his guilt/mistake.
Признавать.
Advance.
To go or move something forward, or to develop or improve something. The fire advanced steadily through the forest.
Продвигать.
Adverse.
Having a negative or harmful effect on something. The match has been cancelled because of adverse weather conditions.
Неблагоприятный.
Agile.
Able to move your body quickly and easily. Monkeys are very agile climbers.
Гибкий.
Ailment.
An illness. Treat minor ailments yourself.
Недуг.
Alt.
Although.
For alternative. He listens to a hip mix of alt rock.
Alt.
Although.
Despite the fact that she walked home by herself, although she knew that it was dangerous.
Хотя.
Anticipation.
A feeling of excitement about something that is going to happen in the near future. As with most pleasures, it's not so much the experience itself as the anticipation that is enjoyable.
Ожидание, предвкушение.
Appearance.
An occasion when someone appears in public. It was his first appearance on television/television appearance as president.
Внешний вид, появление.
Arrangement.
A plan for how something will happen. They'd made all the arrangements for the party.
Приготовление, договоренность.
Artistry.
Great skill in creating or performing something, such as in writing, music, sport, etc. You have to admire the artistry of her novels.
Артистизм.
Assume.
To accept something to be true without question or proof. I assumed that you knew each other because you went to the same school.
Предполагается.
Attitude.
A feeling or opinion about something or someone, or a way of behaving that is caused by this. It's often very difficult to change people's attitudes.
Отношения.
Bare.
Without any clothes or not covered by anything. Don't walk around outside in your bare feet.
Голый, неприкрытый.
Blockage.
Something that stops something else passing through, or the act of stopping something passing through. His death was caused by a blockage in one of his arteries.
Засорение.
Bloodletting.
Killing and violence, especially between enemy groups involved in an argument that has existed for a long time. Ethnic bloodletting.
Кровопускание.
Bloodline.
All the members of a family group of people or animals over a period of time, especially when considering their shared family characteristics. Ismailis believe that a bloodline joins the Aga Khan to Muhammad.
Родословная.
Bodily.
Relating to the human body. Bodily fluids equals blood, saliva, etc.
Телесно.
Buzz.
To make a continuous, low sound such as the one a bee makes. I can hear something buzzing.
Гул.
Carcass.
The body of a dead animal, especially a large one that is soon to be cut up as meat or eaten by wild animals. Vultures flew around in the sky waiting to pick at the rotting carcass of the deer.
Туша.
Cellular.
Relating to animal or plant cells. Cellular damage.
Сотовый, клеточный.
Checkmate.
The final position in the game of chess when your king cannot escape and you have lost the game. The use of the battleship is to checkmate the activities of the enemy's battleship.
Мат.
Checkered.
Having had both successful and unsuccessful periods in your past. He's had a checkered business career.
Клетчатый.
Sight.
To mention something as proof for a theory or as a reason why something has happened. She cited 3 reasons why people get into debt.
Ссылаться, приводить пример, вызывать в суд.
Clot.
An almost solid piece of something. He had a blood clot removed from his brain.
Сгусток.
Clump.
A group, especially of trees or flowers. A clump of grass/daffodils.
Пучок, куст.
Cluster.
A group of similar things that are close together, sometimes surrounding something. Have a look at the cluster of galaxies in this photograph.
Сгруппированный.
Cohabitation.
The act of living and having a sexual relationship with someone, especially someone you are not married to. Cohabitation has been praised as a test drive for marriage.
Совместное проживание.
Combination.
The mixture you get when 2 or more things are combined. Strawberries and cream. A perfect combination.
Сочетание.
Combined.
The combined value, weight, etc. of 2 or more things is the value or weight of them added together. The combined value of the big 6 tobacco companies is just £57 billion.
Комбинированный.
Companionship.
The enjoyment of spending time with other people. I lived on my own for a while, but I missed the companionship of others.
Общение.
Competition.
A situation in which someone is trying to win something or be more successful than someone else. Competition for jobs is intense.
Соревнование.
Competitive.
Involving competition. Competitive sports.
Конкурентный.
Complex. Complexity.
Involving a lot of different but related parts. A complex molecule/carbohydrate.
Сложный.
Complexity.
The state of having many parts and being difficult to understand or find an answer to. A problem of great complexity.
Сложность.
Comprise.
To consist of particular parts or members. The orchestra was comprised of amateur and professional musicians.
Состоять из, составлять.
conceal,
To hide something. She could barely conceal her irritation.
Скрывать.
Concisely.
In a short and clear way that expresses what needs to be said without unnecessary words. The information was presented clearly and concisely.
Кратко.
conquest,
The act of conquering a country, area, or situation. I was determined not to become just another one of his conquests.
Завоевание.
consequently,
As a result, he covers concisely our current understanding of the.
Следовательно, в результате.
consider, considerable,
To spend time thinking about a possibility or making a decision. Don't make any decisions before you've considered the situation.
Учитывать, рассматривать, обдумывать.
considerable,
Large or of noticeable importance. The fire caused considerable damage to the church.
Значительный.
container,
A hollow object, such as a box or a bottle, that can be used for holding something, especially to carry or store it. An airtight container.
Контейнер.
contest,
A competition to do better than other people, usually in which prizes are given. A dance/sports contest.
Конкурс.
contrary,
Used to show that you think or feel the opposite of what has just been stated. You're a vegetarian, aren't you? On the contrary, I love meat.
Наоборот.
conventional,
Traditional and ordinary. Conventional behavior/attitudes/clothes.
Общепринятый, традиционный.
cooperate,
Сотрудничать.
A 2-year-old is likely to refuse to cooperate when you tell her to get dressed. To act or work together for a particular purpose, or to be helpful by doing what someone asks you to do.
correlation,
A connection or relationship between two or more facts, numbers, etc. There's a correlation between smoking and cancer.
Корреляция.
correspondence,
Letters, especially official or business letters. Any further correspondence should be sent to my new address.
Переписка.
Cranny.
A small, narrow opening in something solid. There were small plants growing in every nook and cranny of the wall.
Трещина.
crawl,
To move along on hands and knees or with your body stretched out along a surface. The child crawled across the floor.
Ползти.
creativity,
The ability to produce or use original and unusual ideas. Too many rules might deaden creativity.
Творческий подход.
creature,
Any large or small living thing that can move independently. Rhine forests are filled with amazing creatures.
Существо.
crevice,
A small, narrow crack or space, especially in the surface of rock. The harsh light revealed every crevice and wrinkle in his face.
Расщелина.
dart,
A small arrow used in the game of darts or as a weapon. A tranquilizer dart.
Дротик.
Decision.
A choice that you make about something after thinking about several possibilities. She has had to make some very difficult decisions.
Решение.
Dedicated.
Believing that something is very important and giving a lot of time and energy to it. A dedicated father/teacher.
Работающий по призванию, преданный делу.
Deny.
To say that something is not true. He will not confirm or deny the allegations.
Отказываться от.
Depart.
To go away or leave, especially on a journey. The plane departs at 6 a.m.
Уйти.
Depict.
To represent or show something in a picture or story. Her paintings depict the lives of ordinary people in the last century.
Изображать.
Descendant.
A person who is related to you and who lives after you, such as your child or grandchild. He has no descendants.
Потомок.
Despise.
To feel a strong dislike for someone or something because you think that that person or thing is bad or has no value. The two groups despise each other.
Презирать.
Destructive.
Causing, or able to cause, damage. The destructive power of nuclear weapons.
Разрушительный.
Difficulty.
The fact of not being easy to do or understand. We finished the job, but only with great difficulty.
Трудность.
Digestion.
The process by which your body digests food, or your ability to digest food. Discover how eating raw food helps balance your body and aids digestion.
Пищеварение.
Discourage.
To make someone feel less confident, enthusiastic, and positive about something, or less willing to do something. The thought of how much work she had to do discouraged her.
Обескураживать.
Disgust.
A strong feeling of disapproval and dislike at a situation, person's behavior, etc. She walked out in disgust.
Отвращение.
Distinct.
Clearly noticeable, that certainly exists. There's a distinct smell of cigarettes in here.
Отчетливый.
Distinguish.
To recognize the differences between two people, ideas, or things. The sales chart shows a distinct decline in the past.
Выделить, различать.
Division.
The act of separating something into parts or groups, or the way that it is separated. The equal division of labor between workers.
Разделение.
Docile.
Quiet and easy to influence, persuade, or control. The once docile population has finally risen up against the ruthless regime.
Послушный.
Doomed.
Certain to fail, die, or be destroyed. This is a doomed city.
Обреченный.
Down.
In or towards a low or lower position, from a higher one. Is this lift going down?
Вниз.
Droppings.
Solid waste from birds and some small animals. Rabbit droppings.
Помет.
Due.
Expected to happen, arrive, etc. at a particular time. What time is the next bus due? The train was late due to snow.
Должное, ожидаемое, из-за чего-либо.
Efficient.
Working or operating quickly and effectively in an organized way. The city's transport system is one of the most efficient in Europe.
Эффективный.
Elegant.
Stylish or attractive in appearance or behavior. She's a very elegant woman.
Элегантный.
Emerge.
To appear by coming out of something or out from behind something. She emerged from the sea, blue with cold.
Появляться.
Emerging.
Starting to exist. Western governments should be giving more aid to the emerging democracies of the Third World.
Возникающий.
Emit.
To send out a beam, noise, smell, or gas. The alarm emits infrared rays which are used to detect any intruder.
Издавать, извергать, излучать.
Enclosure.
An area surrounded by fences or walls. An enclosure for the horses.
Ограждение, огороженное место.
Encourage.
To make someone more likely to do something, or to make something more likely to happen. We were encouraged to learn foreign languages at school.
Поощрять.
Enduring.
Existing for a long time. The enduring appeal of cartoons.
Прочный, устойчивый.
Enlarge.
To become bigger or to make something bigger. They've enlarged the kitchen by building over part of the garden.
Увеличенный.
Ensure.
To make something certain to happen. The airline is taking steps to ensure safety on its aircraft.
Гарантировать.
Envelop.
To cover or surround something completely. The graveyard looked ghostly, enveloped in mist.
Конверт.
Environmentally.
In a way that relates to the environment. Environmentally damaging chemicals.
Экологически.
Eradicate.
To get rid of something completely or destroy something bad. The government claims to be doing all it can to eradicate corruption.
Искоренить.
Essence.
The basic or most important idea or quality of something. The essence of his argument was that education should continue throughout life.
Сущность.
Ethos.
The set of beliefs, ideas, etc. about the social behavior and relationships of a person or group. National ethos.
Этос.
Eventually.
In the end, especially after a long time or a lot of effort, problems, etc. Although she had been ill for a long time, it still came as a shock when she eventually died.
В конце концов.
Evidently.
In a way that is easy to see. He was evidently upset by the news of the accident.
Очевидно.
Exact.
In great detail, or complete, correct, or true in every way. The exact distance is 1.838 meters.
Точный.
Excellent.
Extremely good. The food was excellent.
Отлично.
Excess.
An amount that is more than acceptable, expected, or reasonable. An excess of enthusiasm is not always a good thing.
Избыток.
Excessive.
Too much. Excessive exercise can sometimes cause health problems.
Излишний.
Exhausted.
Extremely tired. Exhausted, they fell asleep.
Измученный.
Exposed.
Having no protection from bad weather. An exposed cliff.
Незащищенный, открытый.
Extensively.
In a way that covers a large area or has a great range. The house was extensively rebuilt after the fire.
Широко.
external,
Of, on, for, or coming from the outside. The external walls of the house.
Внешний.
extremity,
The furthest point, especially from the center. The wood lies on the southern extremity of the estate.
Конечность.
fascinating,
Extremely interesting. The book offers a fascinating glimpse of the lives of the rich and famous.
Очаровательный, увлекательный, захватывающий.
fatten,
Fatten SB/STH up. These cattle are being fattened up for slaughter.
Откармливать.
Faulty.
A faulty machine or device is not perfectly made or does not work correctly. Faulty wiring/breaks.
Неисправный.
Film.
A series of moving pictures, usually shown in a cinema or on television and often telling a story. What's your favorite film?
Фильм.
flatten,
To become level or cause something to become level. Several trees were flattened, equals knocked down, by the storm.
Выравнивать, становиться или делать плоским.
for,
In or to an important or popular position. The band first came to the fore in 2009.
Перед, на переднем плане.
forklift,
A vehicle with two bars in the front for moving and lifting heavy goods. He has a job as a forklift truck driver.
Погрузчик.
Fortunately.
Happening because of good luck. Fortunately, we got home before it started to rain.
К счастью.
Fungus.
Any of various types of organisms that get their food from decaying material or other living things. Mushrooms and mold are fungi.
Гриб, грибок.
furthermore,
In addition, more importantly, the house is beautiful. Furthermore, it's in a great location.
Кроме того, более того.
Gregarious.
Of people, liking to be with other people. Emma's a gregarious, outgoing sort of person.
Общительный.
Hardy.
Strong enough to bear extreme conditions or difficult situations. A few hardy souls continue to swim in the sea even in the middle of winter.
Выносливый, стойкий.
Hence.
That is the reason or explanation for. His mother was Italian, hence his name, Luca.
Следовательно.
Hind.
At the back of an animal's body. A hind leg.
Задняя нога/лапа.
Hint.
Something you say that suggests what you think or want, but not in a direct way. He dropped, equals made, several hints that he wanted an MP3 player for his birthday.
Намекать, совет.
hoof,
The hard part on the foot of a horse and some other large animals. Zinc is important to maintaining the skin and hooves of cattle.
Копыта.
humble,
Not proud or not believing that you are important. He's very humble about his success.
Скромный.
imbalance,
A situation in which two things that should be equal or that are normally equal are not. There is huge economic imbalance between the two countries.
Дисбаланс, диспропорция.
impractical,
Impractical people are not naturally good at doing useful jobs such as making or repairing things. It's impractical to have so many people all trying to use this equipment at the same time.
Непрактичный, нецелесообразный.
incompatibility,
The state of not being able to exist or work with another person or thing because of basic differences. An incompatibility problem prevents the two pieces of software from being used together.
Несовместимый, противоречащий.
inevitable,
Certain to happen and unable to be avoided or prevented. The accident was the inevitable consequence/result/outcome of carelessness.
Неизбежный.
inevitably,
In a way that cannot be avoided. Their arguments inevitably end in tears.
Неизбежно.
infantry,
The part of an army that fights on foot. The infantry were sent into battle.
Пехота.
infest,
Of animals and insects that carry disease, to cause a problem by being present in large numbers. The barn was infested with rats.
Заражать.
inside,
The part, space, or side of something that is inside. Did you clean the inside of the car?
Внутри.
insidious,
Of something unpleasant or dangerous, gradually and secretly causing harm. High blood pressure is an insidious condition which has few symptoms.
Коварный.
insight,
The ability to have a clear, deep, and sometimes sudden understanding of a complicated problem or situation. It was an interesting book, full of fascinating insights into human relationships.
Проницательность, понимание.
instantaneous,
Happening immediately, without any delay. An instantaneous response/reply/reaction.
Мгновенный, незамедлительный.
instinct,
The way people or animals naturally react or behave, without having to think or learn about it. All his instincts told him to stay near the car and wait for help.
Инстинкт.
intelligence,
The ability to learn, understand, and make judgments or have opinions that are based on reason. An intelligence test.
Интеллект.
inter,
internal,
To bury a dead body. Many of the soldiers were interred in unmarked graves.
Похоронить. Или в качестве суффикса между, среди.
internal,
Inside the body. He sustained injuries to his arms, legs, and several internal organs.
Внутренний.
invasive,
Moving into all areas of something and difficult to stop. An invasive disease.
Инвазивный.
Ironically,
Saying something that you do not mean, as a joke. Ironic comments.
По иронии судьбы, иронический.
irrefutable,
Impossible to prove wrong. An irrefutable argument.
Неопровержимый.
itself,
Used when the subject of the verb is it and the object is the same thing, animal, situation, or idea. The cat licked itself all over.
Сам.
justification,
A good reason or explanation for something. There is no justification for treating people so badly.
Оправдание.
Known or recognized by many people. Her views on the subject are already well known.
Хорошо известный.
lean,
To cause to slope in one direction, or to move the top part of the body in a particular direction. She leaned forward and whispered something in my ear.
Откидываться назад / наклоняться вперед / высовываться.
leap,
To suddenly move somewhere. I leapt up to answer the phone.
Прыгнуть, запрыгивать / выскакивать / вскакивать.
lethal,
Able to cause or causing death, extremely dangerous. 3 minutes after the fire started, the house was full of lethal fumes.
Смертельный.
lid,
A cover on a container, that can be lifted up or removed. Can you get the lid off this jar?
Крышка.
literary,
Connected with literature. A literary critic.
Литературный.
loathsome,
Extremely unpleasant. He's a loathsome man.
Отвратительный.
lone,
Alone. A lone survivor.
Одинокий.
margin,
The difference between two amounts of time, money, etc., usually between people in a competition. The Senate approved the use of military force by a margin of 52 votes to 47.
Запас, преимущество, прибыль.
marrow,
The soft substance inside bones. He was due to donate his marrow 2 days ago.
Костный мозг.
marsupial,
A type of mammal from Australasia or South or Central America that is not completely developed when it is born and is carried around in a pouch, equals a body part like a pocket, on the mother's body, where it is fed and protected until it is completely developed. Marsupials include koalas, possums, and kangaroos.
Сумчатое животное.
maternity,
The state of being a mother. She asked about the company's maternity benefits.
Материнство.
membranous,
Relating to a membrane or like a membrane, equals a very thin layer of tissue that covers or connects parts of the body. Joints in the body have a membranous lining.
Перепончатый.
Mention. To speak about something quickly, giving little detail or using few words. I'll mention your ideas to Jacinta.
Упомянуть.
merely,
Used to emphasize that you mean exactly what you are saying and nothing more. I wasn't complaining, I merely said that I was tired.
Просто.
meticulous,
Very careful and with great attention to every detail. Many hours of meticulous preparation have gone into writing the book.
Дотошный, тщательный.
Mince.
To cut food into very small pieces. Mince the garlic and add it to the onions.
Фарш, крошить, семенить ногами.
Muster.
To get enough support, bravery, or energy to do something difficult. I hope she musters the courage to invite him for dinner.
Собраться с силами.
Necessity.
The need for something. You can come early if you want to, but there's no necessity for it.
Необходимость.
Nerve.
A group of long, thin fibers, equals structures like threads, that carry information or instructions between the brain and other parts of the body. The optic nerve.
Нерв.
Nevertheless.
Despite what has just been said or referred to. I knew a lot about the subject already, but her talk was interesting nevertheless.
Тем не менее.
Nightly.
Happening, every night. Nightly bombardment of the city looks set to continue.
Каждую ночь.
Nook.
A small space that is hidden or partly sheltered. A cozy/sheltered/quiet nook.
Укромный уголок.
Numb.
If a part of your body is numb, you are unable to feel it, usually for a short time. I was lying in a weird position and my leg went numb.
Онемевший.
Numerous.
Many. We have discussed these plans on numerous occasions.
Многочисленные.
Nursery.
A place where young children and babies are taken care of while their parents are at work. Does Jake go to a nursery or a childminder?
Ясли, детский сад.
Obviously.
In a way that is easy to understand or see. He was in tears and obviously very upset.
Очевидно.
Occur. Occurrence.
Especially of accidents and other unexpected events, to happen. An accident involving over 10 vehicles has occurred in the eastbound lane.
Случаться, происходить.
Occurrence.
Something that happens. Street fights are an everyday occurrence in this area of the city.
Вхождение.
Odor.
A smell, often one that is unpleasant. Inside the room there was the unmistakable odor of sweaty feet.
Запах.
Offspring.
The young of an animal. In the case of the guinea pig, the number of offspring varies between 2 and 5.
Потомство, отпрыск, потомок.
Onto.
Used to show movement into or on a particular place. I slipped as I stepped onto the platform.
На.
Onward.
Beginning at a particular time and continuing after it. I'm usually at home from 5 o'clock onwards.
Вперед, дальнейший.
Origin.
The beginning or cause of something. It's a book about the origin of the universe.
Источник.
Otherwise.
Used after an order or suggestion to show what the result will be if you do not follow that order or suggestion. I'd better write it down, otherwise I'll forget it.
В противном случае.
Outcast.
A person who has no place in their society or in a particular group, because the society or group refuses to accept them. She has spent her life trying to help the homeless and other social outcasts.
Изгой.
Overcome.
To defeat or succeed in controlling or dealing with something. Juventus overcame Ajax in a thrilling game.
Превосходить.
Overnight.
For or during the night. Sometimes we would stay overnight at my grandmother's house.
На ночь, ночью.
Overriding.
More important than anything else. The government's overriding concern is to reduce inflation.
Важнейший, решающий.
Paradoxically.
In a way that seems impossible or difficult to understand because of containing two opposite facts or characteristics. The big thing in video equipment is, paradoxically, sound.
Парадоксально.
Pasture.
Grass or similar plants suitable for animals such as cows and sheep to eat, or an area of land covered in this. The sheep were grazing on the lush green pastures.
Пастбище.
Patient.
A person who is receiving medical care, or who is cared for by a particular doctor or dentist when necessary. I'm a patient of Dr. Stevens. Please could I make an appointment to see her?
Пациент.
Pawn.
Any one of the 8 least valuable pieces in the game of chess. The refugees are pawns in an international political dispute.
Пешка.
Perceive.
To come to an opinion about something, or have a belief about something. How do the French perceive the British?
Понимать.
Perception.
A belief or opinion, often held by many people and based on how things seem. We have to change the public's perception that money is being wasted.
Восприятие.
Pest.
An insect or small animal that is harmful or damages crops. Common pests such as rats, mice, or cockroaches.
Вредитель.
Plagiarize.
To use another person's ideas or work and pretend that it is your own. The book contains numerous plagiarized passages.
Заниматься плагиатом.
Plain.
Not decorated in any way, with nothing added. She wore a plain black dress.
Простой.
Platelet.
A very small cell in the blood that makes it thicker and more solid in order to stop bleeding caused by an injury. They caused an elevated platelet count in half of the episodes.
Тромбоцит.
Postage.
The money that you pay for sending letters and parcels through the post. Please enclose £15.99, plus £2 for postage.
Почтовые расходы.
Potent.
Very powerful, forceful, or effective. Surprise remains the terrorists' most potent weapon.
Мощный, сильный.
Potential.
Possible when the necessary conditions exist. A number of potential buyers have expressed interest in the company.
Потенциал.
Potentially.
Possibly. Hepatitis is a potentially fatal disease.
Потенциально.
Pouch.
A bag or soft container for a small object or a small amount of something. All our electric shavers are supplied with a free travel pouch.
Мешочек.
Precise.
Exact and accurate. The bunker's precise location is a closely guarded secret.
Точный.
Predation.
The fact that an animal hunts, kills, and eats other animals. For local cattle ranchers, predation by mountain lions is a problem.
Хищничество.
Predator.
An animal that hunts, kills, and eats other animals. Lions, wolves, and other predators.
Хищник.
Predictable.
Something that is predictable happens in a way or at a time that you know about before it happens. Comets appear at predictable times.
Предсказуемый.
Presence.
The fact that someone or something is in a place. She was overawed by the presence of so many people.
Присутствие.
Preventative.
Preventive action is intended to stop something before it happens. This should include peer education and life skills training on preventative interventions.
Профилактический, предупредительный.
Primarily.
Mainly. We're primarily concerned with keeping expenditure down.
В первую очередь.
Primary.
More important than anything else, main. The Red Cross's primary concern is to preserve and protect human life.
Начальный.
Principally.
Mainly. The advertising campaign is aimed principally at women.
В основном, главным образом.
Prolific.
Producing a great number or amount of something. He was probably the most prolific songwriter of his generation.
Плодотворный.
Quickly.
At a fast speed. We'll have to walk quickly to get there on time.
Быстро.
Rather.
More accurately, more exactly. Quickly now, you two, Daddy's waiting in the car.
Скорее, вернее.
Reabsorbed. To take up. Something previously secreted or emitted. Sugars reabsorbed in the kidney.
Реабсорбированный.
Readily.
Quickly, immediately, willingly, or without any problem. He readily agreed to help.
Охотно.
Rear.
At the back of something. There's a sticker on the rear door/window.
Задний.
Recognizably.
In a way that is easy to recognize. The creature was recognizably human.
Узнаваемо.
Reign.
To be the king or queen of a country. Queen Victoria reigned over Britain from 1837 to 1901.
Царствовать.
Rejection.
The act of refusing to accept, use, or believe someone or something. The government's rejection of the plans is a setback for us.
Отказ.
Relatively.
Quite, when compared to other things or people. Eating out is relatively cheap.
Относительно.
Remain.
To stay in the same place or in the same condition. The doctor ordered him to remain in bed for a few days.
Оставаться.
Repulsive.
Extremely unpleasant or unacceptable. What a repulsive old man.
Отталкивающий.
Respond.
To say or do something as a reaction to something that has been said or done. To every question, he responded, I don't know.
Отвечать.
Rural.
In, of, or like the countryside. The area is still very rural and undeveloped.
Деревенский.
Sail.
When a boat or a ship sails, it travels on the water. The boat sailed along/down the coast.
Плыть.
Scorch.
To, cause to, change color with dry heat, or to burn slightly. The iron was too hot and he scorched the shirt.
Опалять.
sealed,
Closed. The host opened the sealed envelope containing the names of the winners.
Запечатанный.
Several.
Some, an amount that is not exact but is fewer than many. I've seen Gone with the Wind several times.
Несколько.
Shudder.
To shake suddenly with very small movements because of a very unpleasant thought or feeling. The sight of so much blood made him shudder.
Содрогаться.
Significance.
Importance. The discovery of the new drug is of great significance to people suffering from heart problems.
Значение.
Significant.
Important or noticeable. There has been a significant increase in the number of women students in recent years.
Значительный.
Similarly.
In a similar way. The children were similarly dressed.
Также.
Somehow.
In a way or by some means that is not known or not stated. It won't be easy, but we'll get across the river somehow.
Как-то.
Somewhat.
To some degree. The resort has changed somewhat over the last few years.
В некотором роде.
Somewhere.
In or at a place having a position that is not stated or not known. He was last heard of living somewhere on the south coast of France.
Где-то.
Southern.
In or from the south part of an area. A southern route.
Южный.
Species.
A group of plants or animals that share similar characteristics. A rare species of bird.
Разновидность.
Spotlessly.
In an extremely clean way. The kitchen is spotlessly clean.
Безупречно.
Spotlight.
A strong light that can be pointed in different directions. She's rarely out of the media spotlight these days.
Прожектор. Центр внимания.
Squash.
To crush something into a flat shape. He accidentally sat on her hat and squashed it.
Давить.
Stagnant.
Of water or air, not flowing or moving, and smelling unpleasant. A stagnant pond.
Костный. Застойный.
Stamp.
A small piece of paper with a picture or pattern on it that is stuck onto a letter or package before it is posted, to show that the cost of sending it has been paid. I stuck a 50p stamp on the envelope.
Печать.
Stare.
To look for a long time with the eyes wide open, especially when surprised, frightened, or thinking. Don't stare at people like that, it's rude.
Глазеть.
Steady.
Happening in a smooth, gradual, and regular way, not suddenly or unexpectedly. The procession moved through the streets at a steady pace.
Устойчивый.
Stiff.
Firm or hard. Stiff cardboard.
Жесткий.
Sting.
If an insect, plant, or animal stings, it produces a small but painful injury, usually with a poison, by brushing against the skin or making a very small hole in the skin. Do all types of bee sting?
Ужалить.
Store.
A large shop where you can buy many different types of goods. A department store.
Храниться.
Stroke.
To gently move your hand over a surface. He stroked her hair.
Гладить.
Struggle.
To experience difficulty and make a very great effort in order to do something. The dog had been struggling to get free of the wire noose.
Борьба.
Subdued.
If a color or light is subdued, it is not very bright. Subdued lighting.
Покоренный.
Subtle.
Subtlety.
Not loud, bright, noticeable, or obvious in any way. The room was painted a subtle shade of pink.
Тонкий.
Subtlety.
The quality of being subtle. Listening to the interview, I was impressed by the subtlety of the questions.
Тонкость.
Successive.
Happening one after the other without any break. It was the team's fourth successive defeat.
Последовательный.
Sufficient.
Enough for a particular purpose. This recipe should be sufficient for 5 people.
Достаточный.
Susceptible.
Easily influenced or harmed by something. She isn't very susceptible to flattery.
Восприимчивый.
Sweep.
To clean something, especially a floor, by using a brush to collect the dirt into one place from which it can be removed. Sweep the floor.
Сметать.
Swoop.
To move very quickly and easily through the air, especially down from a high position in order to attack. The eagle swooped down to snatch a young rabbit.
Налетать.
Symbolize.
To represent something. The lighting of the Olympic torch symbolizes peace and friendship among the nations of the world.
Символизировать.
Tally.
To match or agree with something else. The numbers on your spreadsheet don't tally with ours.
Подсчет.
Tend.
To be likely to behave in a particular way or have a particular characteristic. We tend to get cold winters and warm, dry summers in this part of the country.
Иметь тенденцию.
Tender.
Gentle, loving, or kind. A tender look/smile.
Нежный, любящий.
Tense.
Any of the forms of a verb which show the time at which an action happened. I sing is in the present tense and I sang is in the past tense.
Напряженный.
For that reason, we were unable to get funding and therefore had to abandon the project.
Следовательно.
Though.
Used to introduce a fact or opinion that makes the other part of the sentence seem surprising. Nina didn't phone, even though she said she would.
Несмотря на, хотя.
Threat.
A suggestion that something unpleasant or violent will happen, especially if a particular action or order is not followed. Her parents carried out their threat to take away her mobile phone if her grades didn't improve.
Угроза.
Thus.
In this way. Bend from the waist, thus.
Таким образом.
Trait.
She hasn't called, even though she said she would. His sense of humor is one of his better traits.
Черта характера.
Transfusion.
The process of adding an amount of blood to the body of a person or animal, or the amount of blood itself. She suffered kidney failure and needed a blood transfusion.
Переливание.
Tutor.
A teacher who teaches a child outside of school, especially in order to give the child extra help with a subject he or she finds difficult. His parents got him a tutor to help with his maths.
Наставник.
Finally, after a series of things have happened, everything will ultimately depend on what is said at the meeting with the directors next week.
В конечном счете.
Undergo.
To experience something that is unpleasant or something that involves a change. She underwent an operation on a tumor in her left lung last year.
Пройти.
Undertake.
To do or begin to do something, especially something that will take a long time or be difficult. Students are required to undertake simple experiments.
Предпринять.
Undesirable.
Not wanted, approved of, or popular. Houses near industrial sites often do not sell so quickly because they are regarded as undesirable.
Нежелательный.
Uneasy.
Slightly worried or uncomfortable about a particular situation. I feel a little uneasy about asking her to do me such a big favor.
Беспокойный.
Unfold.
To open or spread out something that has been folded. He watched her expression as she unfolded the letter.
Развернуться.
Unhealthily.
In a way that is not good for your health. She is unhealthily thin.
Нездорово.
Unthinking.
Not based on serious thought or an examination of the information. What annoys me about these people is their unthinking hostility to anything foreign or unfamiliar.
Бездумный.
Vice versa.
Used to say that what you have just said is also true in the opposite order. He doesn't trust her, and vice versa, equals she also doesn't trust him.
Наоборот.
Vice.
Something bad that someone often does. Smoking is his only vice.
Порок преступление, связанное с проституцией или наркотиками.
Vicinity.
The area around a place or where the speaker is. There are several hotels in the immediate vicinity of the station.
Окрестности.
Wallaby.
New York of various small or medium-sized kangaroos. The week prior, Powell shared another awesome image of Grace, who was reaching out for a nearby wallaby.
Wasp.
A flying insect, often black and yellow, that can sting, equals produce a small, painful skin injury. There's a wasp's nest in that old tree.
Оса.
Well known. Known or recognized by many people. Her views on the subject are already well known.
Хорошо известный.
Whenever.
Every or any time. I blush whenever I think about it.
В любое время.
Whereas.
Compared with the fact that his parents were rich, whereas mine had to struggle.
В то время как, тогда как.